and I'm so glad you guys are here on this special day. And I want to talk about, what do we celebrate? There's a plethora of holidays on the calendar, right? The government's deemed necessary, then we add our own, whether it's our special birthday, anniversaries, lasts, firsts, gotcha days, graduation, housewarmings. We've got all these reasons to celebrate, and they're great, and I love them. This is what we've deemed worthy to celebrate, which is fantastic. What I would like us to do, and I'm challenging you to do, is expand your level of celebration to more things in your everyday life. Like sun right now always reminds us, waking up in the morning. The minute we wake up in the morning, gratitude, thankfulness, celebrate that. Because guess what? Not everybody did wake up today. We're sitting here today, breathing, heart beating. Let's celebrate that. You got in your vehicles and drove here and got to your destination. Celebrate that. If somebody ever watched me go collect my eggs, I thank the chickens, I thank nature, I thank God, I thank whatever, the bugs they ate. I'm just like, yeah, we got eggs today. You know, good job, ladies. Celebrate it, celebrate it. Because it's so important where we actually put that focus. So many times, rather than enjoying each step during a process, we get very goal-driven. We get very single-minded. We get very attached to the results and the outcome, and we rush to a goal. How many times are we just like trudging through the week waiting for Friday, or waiting for the weekend, or waiting for that vacation, or waiting for some event that you woke up as an event? That you have this day to go through life. Living is an event that you can celebrate every day, all the time. So it is our anniversary, and I've never felt compelled to do this before, but it is this time that to kind of weave through some of our memories of MSC and how we got started. Because there was a lot of really good life lessons and things to celebrate in that process. So, I had been a part of another church for almost 15 years. It existed for 20. I found myself being the vice president of that board when we found out the building was being sold, the minister was retiring, and after a financial review, it was evident we could not go forward with that church anymore. Holy cow, what now? Right? There was a level of panic. I think I can actually say it was panic. But the thing of it is that for me, I just looked at this amazing community. I said, I'm not going to do this until the end. I just looked at this amazing community and thought, this has to still exist. I can't imagine it not existing. And mind you, I was a single mom, providing, teaching my kid, doing laundry. I was not thinking about, I've got nothing else to do, let's start a church. Was not on my to-do list. However, the beauty of what the universe does, oftentimes the universe does for us what we cannot do for ourselves. And sometimes it cuts things off, sometimes it brings things in, sometimes it offers opportunities. But my life, as she shared with you, my whole life's been devoted to making people's lives better and the world a better place. This just gave me another opportunity, another window to do that with. Now, this happened kind of suddenly, so there was no plan. There was no strategy, okay? And at first that might seem like a bad thing, but I know, shocker, being an overthinker, it kind of saved me. Because I didn't have time to overthink. I didn't have time to worry about it. I'm like, hey, we're going to see what's going to happen here. Because I had my burning desire, why? And as Napoleon Hill says, when you have burning desire, why, you let go of the how to the universe. Okay? So just so you know, from the moment we found out all of this news, we had 7 weeks until she did her final sermon. 7 days later, on August 6th, We did ours. Didn't miss a beat. Now, I did still have to do some research. I didn't get to sit at home and eat chips and eat ice cream and just wait for the answers, but I did. Read lots and lots of tax information because I knew I wanted us to be a 501c3 and that was going to take time. What do we do until then? It was a Thursday night at 10:30 when I finally read the clause. And I'm like, I think I'm reading this right. This is how we got to do it. I even sent it to somebody else and said, am I reading this right? Yes. You can collect donations from your congregation to support your congregation until the 501c3 comes through. And then everything is retroactive, going back for tax reasons. I'm like, there's our answer. This gives us a way forward. So there was a lot of board meetings during the time because it takes a lot to dismantle another church. So there was all of us working to do that. And we were at a board meeting and it was absolutely insane. People were talking about hair and wine and pizza and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, wait, you guys gotta hear me. This is a possibility. And in all the chaos, I heard the still solid voice across the table. Art said, you know, Lena, this can be done and you can do it. And I'm like, that was the still voice I needed to hear. And I'm like, got it. Thank you, Art. Solid force. Okay, so we talk about this all the time, about where our attention goes, energy flows, right? We've mentioned this multiple times. Because we understand that wherever we start to put our focus, our energy will perpetuate that vibration. Now again, what I'm going to challenge you to do, in a conscious, active way, make sure that you're the one that's in charge of your attention and where it's going. Direct it. You know, make sure that you are steering clear of things that are unwanted, things that stimulate negativity, anxiety, stress, whatever it is, because that's not where we wanted to go. So first off, don't watch the news. It's just, even if something good happens, it's like this much of this much. No, don't do it. Even your media and your social media and your phone, be careful. There's a lot of really cool things that can come through on that, but there's also a lot of the other yuck stuff. I personally kind of choose to read some of my stuff because then I can choose what I read, when I read it. I can skim it, I can stop it, I can delete it anytime I want. But at least I know there's a world out there and I'm aware of it. But consciously, we know this concept, but are we doing it? And I'm actually challenging you, when you have people, places, and things that reach a level that they're affecting your vibration, remove yourself from the situation. It's it. Rumi says it this way: vibrate high and align with the frequency of your soul, and the universe will respond in kind. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what we talk about. When you harmonize with who you really are, what you really want and desire, and it goes with the flow. So, we had a possible. This can happen. But what now? And not knowing and being patient, as all you movers, shakers, and doers out there know, is not our strong point. But that's what we needed to do. As a metaphysical practitioner, it helped me to know there was something bigger than me. There was a higher power that was really in charge of whether or not this was going to fly or flop, quite honestly. And what it helped me do was understand that it's about accepting life, period. If it happens, celebrate it. If it doesn't happen, celebrate it. If it comes, celebrate it. If it goes, celebrate it. If it appears and then disappears, celebrate it and celebrate it. Celebrate change. Learn how to train yourself to doing this. Now, even if it's painful, because sometimes it gets more difficult sometimes, but the thing of it is to remain non-judgmental no matter what's happening. Because the point is to raise and maintain your vibration through everything, okay? Now, Eckhart Tolle talks about the observer. The Buddhists have a core level of attachment, But what I want to suggest is, because it supports this, is be the witness, not just the watcher. We all watch through our human eyes and filter with our human brain, but when you step even deeper into that and you're the witness of even your watcher, even yourself in situations, that's from a soul level. Game changer, okay? Because we all know, I know I can get this way, like when there's something that you really want and you really desire, it's like a dog on a bone. They can't stop gnawing on it. You think, you try, you rethink, you retry. This is working, this isn't, this is taking too long, whatever. Don't panic. This is when you step back and pause and breathe and leave it alone. It's like the muddy water in the jar. The more we shake it, the more it stays cloudy. But if you can just leave it alone, what happens? It settles, and then it becomes clear. Now I know that this bumps up against a lot of what we've been taught to be driven and goal-oriented, to do nothing, but really, you're never just doing nothing. You are always letting go and making space for things to happen and flow in your life, okay? When we don't force it, when we don't push, clarification comes. So you better believe during that time I was doing a lot of meditating, I was doing a lot of prayer, I was bumping up against, who are you to start a church? I mean, you believe the thoughts, the intrusive thoughts that flew around as I was going through this process. Is this really the right thing to do? Is this the right time to do it? Is this the way to do it? Put it out there. And if it was meant to be, it was meant to be. Because when we finally stop worrying about what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, and if it's going to work out, that's when the real magic can flow in a situation. So I was with a group of friends, and we were hanging out and doing what I call casual kitchen talk. And this came up, and the person said, you know, somebody that I know started an LLC, and their bank actually helped them fill out the paperwork. I'm like, sounds good to me. So you better believe I trotted myself to the bank. The very next day, walked in and said, this is what I need to do. Can somebody help me? They introduced me to this woman. Oh my God, no coincidences, people, no coincidences. She was going to work on her keyboard, and anything she couldn't do through the bank's thing, we did on my phone. We got us registered with the Secretary of State. We got an EIN number. I walked her out of there with information about accounts and how to deposit and how to collect, all that kind of stuff. The funny part of it is, this whole time I'm texting with Kay and Rich and a couple other people because we're trying to make sure what our name is going to be. That's how it was. We had some ideas, but we solidified it that day because I needed it for this paperwork. And it was perfect, you guys. The Mindful Spiritual Center is like, we couldn't have asked for anything better. Because we were all striving to create this kind of an environment where it's supportive, loving, encouraging, just accepting and open. We did not want the dogma. We did not want the religion. We did not want a confining box. We wanted to not tell you what to do and how to do it, but to create an environment where you could just be. Be wherever you are, progressing however you're progressing, wherever you came from, wherever you're going, to just be loving. That's what we wanted. So there's a lot of stuff going on during this. Like we're trying to find a location, we're searching out places that are available on Sunday mornings and affordable, and I mean, we're talking synagogues and gymnasiums, we're doing everything we can. And then again, this offhanded comment from a parent that says, you know, my kid had an event at the New Maryland Heights Community Center, and it was a nice place. So yes, I trotted myself up here and we took a look. History, here we are. It was perfect. So myself, Rich, and Kay, we gathered, ironically, in the office of the old church and had our first board meeting. I can almost guarantee you we did probably not follow board meeting etiquette. We just did it. We just made it happen. We solidified some things. It was fun. You know, the location, just all kinds of stuff, demographics, things like that. Now, there was no startup money in here. There was no time to have startup money. So literally, Kay, Rich, and I decided, okay, you pay the first week, you pay the second week, and I'm gonna pay the third week. And then we're gonna see what happens from there. And then we let it go. A couple days later, after one of the services at the other church, a gentleman walked up to me and said, I'd like to pay your first 3 months rent. Even back then, it was like $2,600 or something like that, 24, 26. And I'm like, you're an earth angel. He now is an actual angel. It was Barry Simpson that paid our first month's rent. That gave us that kind of a start and a grounding that was it, okay? And it was just beautiful how, and it was actually peaceful, how every time we needed something, a stepping stone appeared. And I think that was happening because we just had real truth or faith and trust in the bigger than us. Now I want to make sure everybody understands something. That doesn't mean there's not chaos. Okay? But what I learned about that is that peace doesn't come from the absence of struggle and storms. It actually comes from being invested, trusting, and having faith in something bigger than ourselves, in God, to make things happen. And to know that that's where the peace is really at. So just a little nugget of fact that just fit in here, I think, is that there was a railroad track built from Venice to, oh God, it starts with a V. Vienna, sorry. From Vienna to Venice, through the Alps, before there was ever a train that could make the trip.
Oh, wow.
Yes, thank you. Isn't that's raw faith. That's real trust. To be brave like that, to stand strong and be real and authentic as things unfold and reveal because you just know. So as things are materializing and we're figuring out all the logistics, I understood that there needed to be leadership because somebody's got to sometimes make executive decisions and steer the ship. But I also understood our strength was in diversity. Our strength was in who all we had participating in this. I mean, it was just, that's why I went with the collective speakers, because I feel like that gives so much more. And I knew, and it really bumped up against my people-pleasing part, because I wanted to make everybody happy, but I knew having a collection of speakers, that's not like the rest of the establishments. That's outside the box. How's that going to work? And no matter what, there's always going to be your favorites or your favorite talks or the ones that you like. But the key thing is no one piece makes MSC what it is. We have an amazing, such a blessing of all the musicians that we have. But MSC can stand alone on that. Can't stand alone on the musicians. Can't stand alone, I mean, no matter how good it is, the inspirational moments. And even the platform. I gotta plug the platform here real quick, because I don't think they get enough credit for what they do. I want you to understand, this is not their 15 minutes of fame where they get to shine or they get to tell their stories. You know, this is business. And they have a really important job of starting us on time. And there's probably lots of things they do that you guys aren't aware of, where they cue people and they keep things moving and they redirect to make sure everybody gets a turn, all that kind of good stuff. Platform is the underneath toe of the whole service. So my point is, it's all of this together with you guys that makes MSC the heart and soul of what it is. So I'm going to close with another little thing, and that is that there is a multitude of different movies that have been made about time travel, right? And there's always, no matter what the storyline is, there's always this concern. Well, what if you go back and change one little thing that could change the entire future. Well, how about this? I want to encourage you guys right here, right now, with your authentic, real selves, to go out there and make one change that could potentially change the future. That's all it could take. If we're so worried about it on this end, we can do it this direction too. Change it. Because when you distance yourself from the negativity and the drama, and you immerse yourself in the trust and the love and the relationship that you have with yourself and your higher self, this is when beautiful things really begin to happen in your life. And I personally think MSC is pretty darn beautiful and definitely worthy of celebrating.